got it.
Oh, Baltimore walks it off.
And welcome to Sim Football Pregame along with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. It's week 13 in season 18 of the Simulation Football League. And Mike, every game matters at this point of the season now, 22 left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cam, most definitely every game matters. And man, my beard is a little grayer and a few more grays in the hair after the game. I just witnessed, my London Knights. We just pulled off overtime victory against Queen City. And man, the games that we had earlier, they were very similar as talking about every game matters. Queen City, they were trying to, avoid that seventh loss, and as well as in the Charleston Atlanta game, Atlanta was trying to avoid that seventh loss, but Charleston and London, they both pulled out great victories today, and now here we are for another key matchup in the playoff scenario right in front of us.
We'll have highlights of those games later on today in our SFL doubleheader here on NXT. But for now, our focus is in the nation's capital, the 7-3 DC Dragons, fresh off their win over previously unbeaten Baltimore. And they will take on 4-6 Vegas, fighting for their playoff lives. Jacksonville can win the Atlantic Division with a win over Florida today. If not, it gets very crowded in there, as you said earlier, Mike. Charleston got the win earlier today. Sioux Falls can win the West later on this afternoon. And Vancouver looks to stay hot against Houston. But, Mike, Vegas, DC, this is going to be a fun one.
Definitely going to be a fun game, Cam. And what do these two teams have in common as far as recent history? Both of these teams had the defending champion Baltimore Ravens on the ropes, but the only difference is the DC Dragons, they were able to close the deal and set themselves up in great shape as far as the playoff positioning and playoff clinching goes. These guys' 7th win on the season. As you mentioned, they can pretty much seal the deal today with a victory. Las Vegas, they are still fighting for their playoff lives. That magical 7th loss, if they get that week, they're pretty much, on to season 19. But and also in play for DC, I think they should have an outside shot at the division if they can close this thing out with a couple of victories and a couple of Baltimore losses. So these guys have a lot to play for, maybe a bye week, but as well, the most important thing is clinching that final playoff, one of the playoffs berth with a win today.
Will DC stay hot, or will they come crashing down after that big? I think I saw somewhere in the Discord server people saying, that was DC's Super Bowl to beat Baltimore. What will they look like this week against a desperate Vegas team? We're about to find out. It's the Las Vegas Fury and the DC Dragons, part of our doubleheader coverage here on Next Level Sports today. We're back with kickoff after this.
Next Level Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
A look at our nation's capital on this fine Saturday afternoon. 56 degrees and partly cloudy here in Washington, D.C. as the Las Vegas Fury are in town to take on the D.C. Dragons. Andy Hamilton along with Mark Lopez, and here is our nation's capital stadium as we look forward to this matchup. Mark, it's going to be a good one. D.C. fresh off of a win over previously unbeaten the Baltimore Vultures, and Las Vegas trying to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yep, absolutely agree, Andy. Very excited for this game. And what a great matchup we have here. On one side, with Las Vegas fighting for their playoff lives, they are going to be desperate for a win. A loss would put them out of playoff contention. On the other hand, you have D.C. fighting for the top of their division. A win here keeps them in pace and hopefully help the Baltimore loss, gives them a good chance of getting the top spot in their division. That said, I think, Andy, in terms of storylines in this game, we have two teams who have each team has one of the most elite running backs in their team. You have on one side Kevin Say on DC, and you have Scott Johnson, another elite running back for Las Vegas. So how will each defense stop the other's ground game?
Aaron Gooden in the stats truck is going to have his hands full keeping track of those rushing yards. These teams have met once before, week 2 of last season. DC right here in this building got the 34-16 victory. We'll see what today has to hold. Aerial coverage of today's game brought to you by Dags Droneworks, aerial photography and videography services in the New York State area. Find them on Instagram at Dags Droneworks or visit their website, dagsdroneworks.com. Great person, great aerial shots. And speaking of aerial, we are underway right here in D.C. Return from Kanye Rockefeller out to the 28. And we will start by feeding you this D.C. Dragons offensive unit. They slayed the Baltimore Vultures last week, handing them their first loss of the season. Shabazz Synergy is the quarterback. Kevin Say, the running back, with Chris Britton at fullback in front of him. Gus Scott, Mike Churchill, Jeff Banfield, and Josh Gill are the wide receivers. Lauren Percoco, the tight end, and Pati is the kicker. They'll start with 2 backs, and they'll give it right up the middle. That is a first down run for 8.
Yep, a good start for them, and that is, of course, Kevin Say, the number 3 running back in terms of yards per game. Total yards, and that equivalent to yards per game. And he, despite that, Andy, he was not the star of their win over Baltimore. It was, in fact, Shabazz Synergy, who is at the helm quarterback, 37 attempts, 32 completions for 256 yards. So we might see him doing well again.
Well, they fooled Las Vegas, and they fooled you, Mark. That was the fullback, Chris Britton, on first down. Now we see Kevin Say, and he meets Max Jackson in the backfield for a loss of 2.
Yeah, Max Jackson showing up. He showed up last game as well, actually winning ball game player of the game last week with his 1 interception, which was a pick 6. And already a good start for him. He might be one of the key people trying to stop Kevin Say.
Third down here for DC early. They'll flip it out. Say out of the backfield with plenty of room. Shows off the moves and has the first down to the 44-yard line. A new set of downs.
Did you know Kevin Say actually, among all receivers, is 6th in terms of reception. So he is also heavily used in the pass game. That just goes to show you the impact he has for this DC team.
Say, a third-year player, was an all-star in season 16. 6 foot, 200 pounds, and he's the lone back in the backfield right here against the nickel look out of Las Vegas. Throw across the middle is complete. Another first down for DC. They're getting this drive moving as they find Chris Britton, his second touch of the day.
Yeah, that was a good play by Chris Britton. Faking the block in the middle, then just breaking through in the inside, finding an open spot, and the pass to him was crisp and a good play.
Nickel look again out of Las Vegas. 3 wide again. That's Britton there in the slot here on the near side. They'll look to throw. They'll throw the out route to the top, and that is going to be incomplete. They're going to call out of bounds Josh Gill.
First time we are calling Josh Gill this afternoon. Last week had 2 receptions for 25 yards. Not their number 1 target this season. Only targeted 62 times. Sorry, he is the most targeted player. But we might see him not be utilized more. Maybe it might be Kevin Say for sure.
I formation, Britton in front of Say, and Synergy is going to adjust some of the play calling at the line. This is his 3rd season with DC, the best that he's had so far here. And they'll give it to Say. He'll pick up 2. It'll bring up an important 3rd and 8 mark as these Fury defense try and get off the field.
Absolutely, and that is led by the front 7, which is led by A.K. Jones, Anthony Stover also on that tackle. So those combo of defensive linemen, including Sam Jaeger, let's not forget him, trying to stop Kevin Say, successful in that one.
Here is Synergy. Deep shot, and he pays the price. Merrick Itera with the interception and return down the sideline to the 46-yard line, and an early mistake by the Dragons.
And an early mistake by the person who has the 2nd least interceptions, only with 11. Shabazz Synergy throws his first interception of the day to your 3-time All-Star Merrick Itera, who already has 7 interceptions in the season. This is number 8 for him, and already this defense is showing its fangs.
Big interception. Last time these 2 teams faced off last year, 3 interceptions by both quarterbacks. So if you are a fan of interceptions, you may have shown up to the right place in the right football game on Next Level Sports. Single back in the backfield as Las Vegas takes over here at the 46-yard line. Fury will give to Scott Johnson. Johnson with plenty of room. Does he have the speed? He fumbled for football, and DC falls on top of it. The forced fumble and recovery by Riley Hughes, forced by Kappa Jones, may just be the play that DC needs.
Kappa Jones forces the fumble on this tackle. Wow, that didn't even look like it would come out of Scott Johnson's hands, but no. Unfortunate for them, 2 turnovers in a row, and DC defense saves it for their offense and gives the ball back to Shabazz Synergy.
So that swings all the way back to the DC 27. They were on the Fury 41 when they threw the interception. And now Synergy will throw again, complete across the middle to the 39-yard line, and first down yardage for Lauren Percoco.
Lauren Percoco, who of course is their tight end, 6'7", 260. She has had a decent season so far with 54 targets throughout the season 18.
New set of downs, and they will line up in a heavy formation. And they are going to throw out of it. Flip outside Kevin Say, and he'll get out of the first tackle. Spin inside. Say readjust to the outside. A dazzling display of moves as he moves out to the 41.
Yeah, Kevin Say really beat Anthony Stover one-on-one as he broke outside. Stover was quick at the outset to try to run towards him, but Say just had that skill to throw him down and get a lot more yards for his team.
Right back where they were when they threw that pick. There's a look at Synergy's numbers, and he is one quarterback that the league has had around a long time and very valued. He'll flip it outside, and that is caught. Let's take you through this Las Vegas defense while we have the chance. Sam Jaeger, Anthony Stover at the defensive end spots. A.K. Jones is the defensive tackle. John Osiris, Yakov Zolotov, Dabson, Bugnut, and Dave Drury are the linebackers. Laquan Smith, Chris Magel, and Merrick Itera the cornerbacks. Justin Reeside, Nicky Colantrelli, and Max Jackson are the safeties, along with Matt Rage at kicker, Dustin McRack at punter. Synergy flips this one outside, caught, first down yardage there to the 25. They move the chains again. He's been efficient today.
And they're back here in Las Vegas territory where they threw their interception, but this time Shabazz Synergy, if to be an elite quarterback, you got to have short-term memory loss. He threw that interception last drive that cut your drive short. Now you just got to pick yourself back up, and I think that's what he has done for the last 2 completions that he's made.
A little over 6.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Synergy, short drop, going to take the deep shot down the sideline, and it's tipped away at the last second. Nice defensive recovery there. That's Jackson.
It's Jackson again. He is everywhere in this field. And it looks like he is put on top of the number 1 target, Josh Gill. And yeah, Max Jackson will be keeping a close eye on this quarterback, Shabazz Synergy, watching where he throws the ball and being there on the money.
It'll be second down here inside of field goal range for their kicker, Potty. We'll have to see if they can hold on to the football. Nickel look here out of Las Vegas. They will back up into coverage. Synergy will take the safe bet with Say, and Say gets out to the 21-yard line. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game all into one. Team strategies are executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the league, you can visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. Synergy across the middle, that is complete. Down to the 5, they are knocking on the doorstep. Mike Churchill, first grab of the day.
And that's definitely a good completion for them, for this team. Just keeping up the confidence level in their passing game. They did really a good job last week, as we mentioned, against Baltimore. And you might think a team that has the 3rd most rushing yards, that they'd want to keep rushing the ball. They're not only that, but they're also in terms of rushing touchdowns, they have 13 in the season. So scoring on the ground might be their number 1 premise, but we'll see if Las Vegas is ready for it.
Synergy completed 86% of his passes last week, and he'll look to throw again from the 5. Flip out. Here's Say, and Say will not get in.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, on the other hand, speaking of the rushing and the passing game, in terms of defense, Las Vegas has allowed only 13 passing touchdowns. That's good for 3rd in the league. So this DC offense will be hard-pressed to throw against Las Vegas in the end zone.
They are going to go F-wing jokers. Say in the backfield, will it be a run or a screen? They will look to screen towards the top of the formation. Say caught it and does not turn the corner. Can't get into the end zone. Really nice job by Drury to get over there.
Absolutely. Drury saving that one because Say broke the first tackle. And Drury just brought him down. Only a pickup of 1 yard. Still, they have this attempt. And they are this close. Andy, I think they might hand it off to Say, just break it down the middle, or a similar play as their last one.
Same formation. We'll see if they throw the screen again. He's out there running for it. Say makes the grab, has a block this time, and has the end zone. A touchdown for Kevin Say will put DC on top.
And that was a good play call from them. And Las Vegas as well, slightly slow on the play, slow on the start of that play, unable to react to Say, despite it being the exact same play. Barely anyone got to him, and Say just enough open space to make the touchdown. Points on the board, and Say, once again, this is your number 3 scoring running back in terms of touchdowns. And this makes it his 6th passing touchdown of the season as well. He has scored a lot of touchdowns.
Say finds Pater. DC finds themselves up 6-0 despite the interception thrown by Shabazz Synergy. If you're just tuning in, Scott Johnson fumbled the football on a long carry, and that gave the ball right back to DC. The interception from Itera tied him with Aaron Arrington for 20th all-time in the SFL. Mark, as you know, as a defensive player, hard to do that. So shouts out to Itera.
Absolutely. Shout out to the 3-time All-Star. And he is their number 1 quarterback, so no surprise there.
We'll see if he has anything to say throughout the rest of today's ball game. Kick away from DC, and Las Vegas's offense will have the chance to re-enter the field of play. They will start at the 22. Quarterback for Las Vegas, Joseph Green, 6'4", 230 in his 2nd season. Scott Johnson is the halfback. A-Star Miramontes is the fullback. John Blades, Mason Kirby, Doug Britton are the receivers. Scott Fowl and Jackson Roberts are the rookie tight ends, both of them. A 1st and a 4th round pick for Las Vegas. who are trying to win today to keep their playoff hopes alive on the road. A tall task for the Fury. Green going to throw for the first time today, and that is caught outside, and that is good for 8 yards. John Blades.
Yep, John Blades and Joseph Green, one of the most common connections for this Las Vegas team. John Blades, of course, with 838 yards for the season, but Joseph Green as well last week had 2 interceptions to go with his 2 touchdowns. So I wonder how much more often we're going to see him pass, but it looks like this situation, they're lined up for a possible pass.
Gun split spread look, and here is Green going to look to throw it way down the middle of the field, and it's caught. First down yardage to the 48, and that completion is made to Mason Kirby.
Yeah, Mason Kirby. If John Blades had 838 yards, Mason Kirby with 807. So really, it's a 2-pronged offensive weapon. The Blades and Kirby duo. So Joseph Green has that going for him. Just throw to one of those 2 players, and then keep throwing to them, and then suddenly Doug Britton sneaks in a huge catch of his own.
4-3 look out of DC. Give right side. Scott Johnson spins once, has great blocking, and Johnson holds on to the football this time up to the 35.
I mean, if John Blades held his block for 1 second longer, Scott Johnson would have broken out for probably a touchdown. There was open space in front of him, but wow, you're right. Key blocks all around by everyone at every level, and Scott Johnson picks up a huge run for their team.
Johnson had that big carry earlier in the game that was forced to put the ball on the turf, and DC recovered it to kind of swing the momentum back the way of the Dragons. We'll see whether they continue to give the ball to Johnson moving forward, and they will here right on first down. Johnson hurdles a man and picks up 4.
And that would be Scott Johnson's attempt number 2 on the ground. He needs one more rushing attempt to hit his 1,000 carry mark for his career. So we'll definitely see that in this game. But boy, what a player he has been.
Just his 4th season in the SFL. Green pressured and dropped in the backfield. DC brought the house, and the pressure got there. That's sacked by Benny Butcher.
Yep, Benny Butcher already with 4.5 sacks in the season to go with 9 tackle for losses. This makes it his 5.5 with a huge one. Yep, that's a loss of, they're back to the 10-yard line, so that was a loss of about 4.
It did knock the Fury potentially out of field goal range. From here, it would be about a 51-yarder. 4 receivers wide, single back offset to the right for Green. Green, 5-step drop, going to float one across the middle and almost paid the price for it. DC was there. Kappa Jones almost picked it off.
And that was a throw intended for Doug Britton, but you're right, Kappa Jones on the money even before the ball was halfway towards its target intended destination, which is Doug Britton. And another good stop, and you're right, we'll see if they actually go for a field goal at all. This is Matt Rage, who has been 13 for 14 in the season, but no, they're just going to punt it.
Dustin McRack is on, and McRack will send it towards this near sideline. Rockefeller will call for the fair catch at the 13. Little conservative there early in this one, Mark.
Yeah, a little conservative, but then again, 51 yards. We'll see. Could Matt Rage have made 51 yards? They don't know, but they're going to put in their defense. Las Vegas are going to trust in their defense that forced the interception the first time, and maybe possibly force a similar turnover.
Rage was an all-star in Season 11. They decide not to call on the second-year man. Instead, they'll give it back to DC, and Synergy will start by flipping it out to Kevin Say. Say picks up 3.
And that was Chris Magel in the tackle as well. Chris Magel, another one of the relatively younger cornerbacks for this Las Vegas team, been in the season and with a team for 3 seasons, but he has done a lot of work for them. Already had 3 interceptions and 1 pick 6 this season.
2 backs in the backfield on 2nd and 7. Synergy going to float one across the middle. Colin Trelli was there.
And those are the kind of plays that we've seen Las Vegas make all season long, including last week, where they're just tipping balls in the air, really near interception type plays to Andy. And, as a safety myself, I'm like, just catch the ball, just bring that ball down, get the interception. There's so much of it whenever Las Vegas defense is on the field.
Gun straight look here. Or excuse me, not gun straight. Gun tray open look. 3-2 look out of the defense. Here is Synergy going to fire on the corner shot, and he's got the step on the defender. First down to the 43.
I mean, that's just route running at its finest. It's number 84, Josh Gill, showing his speed, a burst of speed on the outside. And you can see there, just 2-3 yards away from anyone, no one could touch him. And he makes a good catch. So solid play for DC, keeps the chain moving, and once again, Las Vegas unable to get their defense off the field.
Fury defense has a tall task today. Synergy very efficient this season. Already has the one pick, but the one touchdown to even it out already. Flip outside here, that is caught. Feet are inbounds there for the wide receiver. I believe that's Churchill over there.
Yep. You're right, it is Churchill, the sophomore of this team, two seasons in the league as well. He has only had 8 receptions, so a very quiet season so far, but just being available there, Andy, having that extra player, your fourth option, make people guessing in the defense, and that's what made that completion.
Parents used to always tell me the best ability is availability. Here's the give. Say spins twice. Say really running with some heart here out to the 48-yard line.
I mean, he broke Yakov's ankles. He broke number 37, Max Jackson's tackle. And really, it is hard to stop Kevin Say unless you put multiple people on him at the same time. And yeah, right there, he's on number 37, Max Jackson, and had to be brought down by 2 people. That's the power of Kevin Say, is his strength while being tackled.
4-3 look. This is the type of defense Las Vegas would bring in to stop Say. However, they are going to throw out of this formation. Flip outside to Lauren Percoco. She'll pick up 6. That is her second grab of the day.
Absolutely. Second grab for her. That would be for 18 total yards in the afternoon. And in short down situations like this, and first down, second down situations, having a comfortable, reliable target such as her is really good for DC.
They give right up the middle. Britton dances in the hole and will be stopped shy. Nikki Colantrelli comes up, and that takes us to the end of the first. DC 7, Las Vegas 0. It's the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. We're right back on Next Level Sports. Back here in Washington, D.C., Andy Hamilton along with Mark Lopez, Aaron Gooden on stats, Cameron Irvine producing behind the scenes, and Chris Britton picking up a first down.
Yeah, Chris Britton really being utilized heavily in this game, getting those short yardage situations such as that third down. Yeah, good stuff from him. Chris Britton, definitely a very pivotal role in this team, as any fullback would be in any team that has one.
Also helps lead the way for Kevin Say. Say, one of the better backs this season. 4th in carries, 3rd in yards. This time, Percoco will make the catch, picks up 6.
Catch number 3 for her, already matching her completion rate, or completion production from last game. Also had 3 receptions. That was for 21 yards. No touchdowns though, but we'll see this early in this game. Looks like she might be a favorite target.
Here's another handoff. Say, stretching left side, and he is met by the defense of Las Vegas. Right out there was A.K. Jones. Defensive tackle was meeting him on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. A.K. Jones. You also have Nikki Colantrelli on that combo tackle. Just the whole defense shifting to the outside on time, really reading that play, not allowing any room for Kevin Say.
Nickel look here out of Las Vegas. Short drop, Synergy fires outside, catch made, and that is a first down to the 16-yard line. Out routes working for DC early here. Mike Churchill, another grab.
I mean, that also worked against Baltimore last week. They had situations where it's just 3rd and short, and then just throw your short out pass. Shabazz Synergy won't get a lot of yards, but he'll get the first downs.
Here is a throw, flip outside, Say, caught, took the brunt of the hit on the outside. Nice play by Zolotov.
That was number 90, Zolotov. What a disrespectful play, just shoulders him out of bounds and says, I have power too. And yeah, I mean, it allows for a no-yard gain, so definitely a good defensive play as well.
DC still alive with their win last week. The opportunity to stay alive in the race for the North. Baltimore, any win for them or any DC loss takes DC out of the race for the top of the North. Still in the playoff conversation, obviously a very good team. But Mark, this game very important for them if they want to keep that hope alive of hoisting the North trophy.
Absolutely, because it gives you a good standing in the playoffs, keeps your position secure for sure. But on the other hand, you also have Las Vegas, who are desperate to be within, even in that playoff contention.
Single back off set to the left is Say. Here is Synergy. Floats back in the end zone. Tap the toes. Touchdown, DC. Jeff Banfield makes the grab, his 6th touchdown of the season.
And it was as if no one noticed him sneaking from behind. Jeff Banfield was just there out in the open, and Shabazz Synergy just drops one to him, makes a good pass, good completion, and you're right, Jeff Banfield with 35 receptions in the season. Sorry, make that 37 for almost 500 yards in the season. That one was, or would have been, for 500 yards in the season.
And Shabazz Synergy with that touchdown throw passes Xander Gold for 16th all-time in the SFL.
Wow.
We have a whole history book and a whole track for the Hall of Fame and getting players in there and moving up in those spots on the all-time list. There's ways to do that. And it's incredible to watch the history of this league and watch players come in the door and start breaking records. Synergy, 5 seasons in, already up to 16th all-time in passing touchdowns.
Just incredible. Such a young player. I guess the ability and the growth, really, especially with the progression system that we have in place, just their ability to grow and develop into such a star quarterback is impressive.
And it gives anyone at home the opportunity to jump in and start breaking records yourself. Have you checked out video content produced by our community lately? Catch the Sim Pod every week, SFL Crunch Time and Road to Glory every Wednesday night. SFL Nights with AJ Stryker premieres on Thursday nights. Say it with your chest on Fridays. And Netma can be seen all week long at 7 p.m. Every week, the live show schedule can be accessed from our Discord server. At the top of the channel listing, Mason Kirby out to the 49 with a big catch there. And if you're on our Discord server like Mason Kirby is, you can look at the events tab in order to figure out when that's going on. But Mark, back on the field, a big play was going on here.
Absolutely. I mean, the safeties were playing soft, really leaning back. They're probably expecting a much deeper pass, and just Mason Kirby carved the middle, found his spot, and made a catch right there. Big, huge play, huge completion.
Kirby 18th this season in yardage and average and targets across the league, so one of the top 20 receivers the league has to offer. They're going to go heavy on this one. Play action here for Green. Green under pressure, and down goes Green. Benny Butcher carves him up in the backfield for his second sack of the day.
Wow, Benny is here to play, and he is feasting on Joseph Green right now. Feasting against the offensive line as well. Just broke through the second time now to find Joseph Green in the backfield. And I believe the last play where he was sacked, it wasn't really a play action play, but still his ability to break through in a snap, in the second is impressive.
Gun tray open look here for Las Vegas. 5 receivers wide. Late blitzer coming from DC. Check down, here for Green, and that cuts back into what they lost on the sack.
Yeah, interesting that he threw on the other side as the blitzer. Probably nobody run the route where the blitzer was, but still it gave them forward yards, forward gain. 3rd and 11. It's 3rd and long. The last time they had the 3rd and long, they did not complete it, and it was a pass play as well.
Gun tray open again. 3-2 look here out of DC. They brought a late blitzer last time. They'll back everyone up this time. Green doesn't care and will make the completion over the defense to John Blades.
John Blades, I mean, look at this guy cutting up this defense while he was running out on one side and really just one-on-one found one-on-one his man. Not really one-on-one because he just broke away for 3-4 yards ahead of his guy and makes a huge catch for his team. Bails Las Vegas out into another potential punt, but keeps the ball moving forward instead.
Las Vegas says, you have Butcher, we have the Blades. And that will move the chains to the 27. Here's Green, and he'll go down again. DC brought more pressure. It's Butcher for a 3rd time today.
Who has 3 sacks by a single player in the first half in your bingo sheet? Because that is what Butcher has right now. Benny Butcher with the 3rd sack, and very quickly racking up a lot of sacks, trying to reach any sack record of the season, maybe trying to hit some top 10, top 20 record.
2nd and 13 from the 30. They'll give it off. Johnson with a block left side. Man, he looks really smooth today when he's running, Mark.
Yeah, he is smooth, finding the little gaps and creases in this defense, especially in the middle. He was able to find 2 getting to the 3rd level before he was tackling. That's the kind of danger that Scott Johnson possesses, Andy, is his quickness in the inside, his quickness, in space. You got to stop him quick and stop him hard.
4 receivers wide, 3-3 look. Joseph Green fires outside. That's Blades again, and he'll be tackled short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th down.
Probably thrown a little too behind him, a little too inside his shoulder, Andy. Otherwise, he could have probably gained more momentum forward for a 1st down. But still, it's some forward yards. This is very good. Still possible for a field goal, and that's what they're going. It's Spotty Potty on the deck. Sorry, Matt Rage on the deck.
Yeah, they'll bring Rage out. 13 of 14 this season. 92% field goal kicker. And this one is up and on the way, and he got it from 36 to cut into that 14-point lead. Now down to 11. Las Vegas getting into it there, Mark. And a lot of time left in this game, only a 2-score game, but certainly if you're Vegas, you're walking away from that drive wishing you were able to get 7.
Yeah, especially since you're a team who has been scoring 29.9 points a game. That's good for almost 30 points a game, and already in the middle of the second half, you only have 3 points to show for it. Las Vegas, the offense is really itching for more points.
Rage will line it up and send it away to the DC Dragons. Dragons will bring back the return out across the 20, and Rockefeller stood up a little bit past that at the 23. Defense for Vegas going to come back out, and Mark, they are not allergic to getting sacks either. They got A.K. Jones, who has 6 this season, Stover with 3.5, and Yeager with 2.5. So Synergy has stayed clean so far, but has given up the 13th most sacks in the SFL this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be up to they don't have any star linemen, so we'll see how they're going to keep away these star defensive players.
Drop, throw outside, caught, and he'll fall down after picking up 4, and they'll tag Banfield at the 28.
I guess that's partly answers my question. If you want to prevent sacks, get that ball away as fast as possible. You have Jeff Banfield running those quick out routes, allowing Sebastian Synergy, quick options to throw it to in case any player coming for him for a sack will come close enough.
4-3 look out of this Las Vegas defense from the 28. And Synergy going to look to throw. Checks down across the middle. Catch made per Coco, a yard shy of the marker.
Yeah, Las Vegas really filled the box right there. Trying to force the issue, but just finding a little bit of an opening in the inside. Not enough for first down. It's still 3rd and 1, but, you have a team with Kevin Say in your back pocket. What can Kevin Say do? 1 yard is probably nothing for him.
2 in the backfield, single receiver split out. 4-3 look, Synergy trying to throw it, wants to take the deep shot down middle. It's caught. Lauren Percoco dupes Colentrelli. 1 to beat to the end zone, and Percoco's brought down at the 7. But a huge play for the tight end.
Percoco, she has woken up today on the right side of the bed, and what a huge catch from her. Was that a one-handed catch? Oh, not really, but she picks it up out of the air before it even landed in number 24, Nikki Colentrelli's hands. And wow, what a play by her. What a play by Shabazz Synergy to find her in the first place. And then just the effort after the fact to pick up a lot more yards. And now look at where they are. Suddenly they are inside the 10.
Here is Synergy going to flip it outside again. Catch made, and they'll get down to the 3. Before lining up for 2nd and goal, and Synergy already, Mark, before the half, over 200 yards.
Wow. I mean, this is the Synergy who has, maybe only the 16th most yards in the season, 2,721 yards. That's less than 300 yards per game, but already over 200 in the first half. Wow.
Give Say, and he will walk it in. 14th touchdown of the season for Kevin Say, and DC and the Dragons are rolling.
Kevin Say is imposing his will on this game. His 2nd total touchdown after his first passing or receiving touchdown 1 drive ago. He makes another rushing touchdown here, and he makes it look easy. Why does he make it look easy? You gotta credit the team for making some key blocks on the outside, stealing the edge. When you have your edge sealed, Kevin Say will get there and will make a touchdown.
Well, both backs had 18 all-purpose touchdowns coming into the day. Johnson, 3 through the air, 15 on the ground. Say, 13 on the ground, 5 through the air. But Kevin Say now takes the lead 20-18 with 1 on the ground and 1 through the air. Kevin Say trying to show that he is at very least the 3rd best back in the SFL.
Yep, 3rd best, both yards and scoring. You got to have the scoring as well to go with your yards, Andy, and he is very good in that department as well.
Haughty will line it up 21-3. Vegas trying to stay in this one. They'll have 2:32 and all 3 timeouts to work with. Return here coming off the line, out to the 20, spins, 20, 30. Oh, man, you just thought for a moment there, Mark.
For a moment, we've had some special team shenanigans in the previous games. We've seen that definitely all history of this league. There has been some weird stuff. If you're the Las Vegas team, if you're DC, you don't want something like a broken tackle to suddenly flip the score and put 7 points instantly in the board.
Backs in the backfield, 4-3 look. Here is the give, right side. Scott Johnson can't spin out of the first tackle. Really nice job there on the DC side to get over and make the play. Kappa Jones has had a game.
Yeah, Kappa Jones is pretty good against the run as well. A lot of tackles in the season, and already a lot, 2, I believe, on Scott Johnson today.
And will take us to the 2-minute warning. 21-3, DC on top. It's the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music right here on Next Level Sports. 2 to go when we return. Washington, D.C., the site of today's game, and a penalty will fly right as we return from the break. Flip out, Scott Johnson will get to the 34, but the penalty will give a first down. First yellow hanky of the game, Mark.
First yellow hanky for the game. We'll see who it is against. Yep, and the defensive penalty, that's good for Las Vegas. Really down 3-21. They'll need any edge throughout the remainder of this game if they want to come back into this game after digging themselves a deep hole.
Was Saeed Gore, one of the three offensive linemen not named Benny Butcher. John Gary and Isaac Forrester are there as well, but it's really been the number 99 Benny Butcher show today on the defensive side. 3 sacks for Butcher to start this one off. 2nd and 1, and Green going to flip it out. Johnson will make the grab and have a block. Johnson spins back inside. It's the 46 mark. They don't seem to be in too much of a hurry.
No, they're probably content with making any amount of score, at least in this drive. Not allow DC the opportunity to hold the ball as this quarter expires. I think Andy, their goal is still to score 7 before the half ends. But for sure, any score would be good for them.
High Twins, here is the give right up the middle. Johnson bounces it outside. Let's stick here. They're going to go hurry up, and now they hurt us, Mark. They thought they were going to go slow, and then they were like, yeah, we'll go fast. Green flips outside, caught there. First down yardage.
That was quick. And number 81, Jeff Banfield, I believe, was the reception on that one.
It was actually Scott Fowl, his 10th grab of the day. They're flipping it outside. That is a big catch down the field. All the way to the 1-yard line. There is John Blades. 1st and goal.
Wow, John Blades makes a huge play for their team. Puts them up in basically next to the end zone. And I think, Andy, in fact, being tackled here might be beneficial for them. If they didn't call for a timeout here and instead let the clock bleed for a few more seconds so that DC won't have any more time when the ball goes back to them. But still, 3 chances at the end zone. They're really smelling the touchdown.
Scott Johnson coming into the game had the second most on the ground. Pressure coming.
Oh,
and Green buried in the backfield again.
Is it him again? I cannot see the number.
It was not Butcher.
Oh.
That was number 97 who came in and made the play, I believe. Could be wrong there. We'll double check. Green flips outside. Johnson spins. Can't get away from the first tackler. And Vegas has to pull the timeout out of the back pocket.
And the right tackle unable to block for Johnson quick enough. And I believe that was the right tackle. But unfortunately for them, what was first and goal at the 1-yard line is suddenly a third and goal at the 8-yard line.
And that tackle at the 1 on Blades looming large here, dependent on this third down. 3-2 look here. Green, pressure coming, fires across the middle, and it's incomplete. Was trying to fit it in a window to Blades. DeSantis and Rockefeller were over there to make the deflection. 4th and goal.
Man, 3 passing plays, all of which did not go as planned, as opposed to, just handing the ball over to Scott Johnson, make him do his work, make him work the trenches. And the 1-yard line, a rush step from him could have been more plausible for a touchdown, but no, suddenly they're just settling for 3. You gotta credit the defense.
Man, it was a 39-yard throw and catch that went to the 1-yard line after a sack. They will settle for a field goal, 6-21. Las Vegas coming up empty on the goal line.
4 total sacks on Joseph Green in the first half. And boy, if that's anything to say what the future holds for this game, it's going to be rough for Las Vegas.
Rage will send it away, and DC will field it, bring it off of the 10, out across the 20. Rockefeller out to the 24. Coming up on the APM Music Halftime Report, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green update you on the playoff picture with 2 weeks to go in the regular season, and update you on action going on in the Sunshine State between the Florida Storm and Jacksonville Kings. Part of our bonus coverage here today on Next Level Sports, all coming up on the APM Music Halftime Report. You won't want to go anywhere. Lots of fun from Cam and Mike on the way. 2 in the backfield here. We'll see if DC will push the issue. They'll flip it outside and pick up 7 on first down.
The answer is no. They're going to let the clock expire. You're down 6-21. Silver lining for Las Vegas is they're starting the second half with the ball in their hands.
And that will take us to the halftime break. 21-6, DC on top of Las Vegas. The APM Music Halftime Show is next. Don't go anywhere. It's the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports.
Welcome back to SFL Studios for the APM Music Halftime Report. Along with Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine, and DC has a 21-6 lead at the break over Las Vegas. Touchdowns beats field goals, Mike, every time, and that was the difference in the first half.
Well, they do most of the time, Cam, unless you're Otis Boudreaux in Louisiana. But yeah, definitely in this case, not getting in the end zone, a big play right there before the half to keep Vegas from crossing that goal line was huge. As we saw, they only had to could come away with 3, and we're 22-6 at the half, and also defensively, great job by this DC Dragon front line. Have done a great job of putting pressure on Joseph Green. Vegas, they tend to give up sacks. They have a tendency to do that from time to time. They've been doing a great job of protecting Joseph Green for the vast majority of the season, but we've seen that offensive line kind of falter against DC here in this first half.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. Green's been on his back most of the day. That's causing problems, putting them in third and long situations. But this Vegas offense, very explosive, including Scott Johnson. I'm sure we haven't seen the last of them in the second half, up 15. 2 weeks to go, Mike. We've got officially 22 games left. 2 have gone final already this week. We've got 2 more going right now. But this playoff picture is getting real interesting, and here's the updated look at it. Baltimore leads Vancouver on SOV, but I was having a talk with our colleague Tyler Falk earlier this morning about how just this week Vancouver could end up with a better strength of victory than Baltimore. SOV is a finicky thing, especially when you don't share any common opponents, which is the case of Vancouver and Baltimore. And then we talked about the battle for the Atlantic, which we'll get to a little bit more here in a second. But, Mike, the South Division's insane. The West, the East, where you want to start?
Well, let's start out West, Cam, because we have that game coming up a little bit later on with Sioux Falls and Denver. Sioux Falls can clinch the division title with a victory out there. So the West is kind of, it's basically Sioux Falls to lose at this point. So if they can get a victory out there against Denver, but it's going to be tough. These guys played a high-scoring overtime battle earlier in the season. Denver, they are going to be right there. They're looking to keep their names involved in that division championship and the automatic playoff bid. So it's going to be a great game. Looking forward to that one later on.
With London and Charleston winning earlier today, there's now 11 teams with at least 6 wins. So if anybody thought they had a shot at 5-7, that is fading very quickly as Houston, Denver, Tulsa all still left to play this week. Houston later on today against Vancouver. That's a very difficult matchup for the Hyenas. And Mike, Houston doesn't have a path to winning the division. If they fall to 5-6, they are really going to be in a tough spot against Fort Worth that last week of the season. Their strength of victory is not where it needs to be, which usually means if you got a SOV down at the bottom, 6-6 is not going to be enough. And so that has basically become a must-win game for the Hyenas later today against the Legion.
Yeah, the Houston's best-case scenario, right, Cam, is to win out. Let's not get involved in the 6-6 scenario because it probably won't work out very well for them. As we saw a couple of other teams out, Tulsa as well as Denver that we spoke about earlier, their strength of victory seems to be pretty good right now. So if either one of those teams could get to that magical 6th win, their tiebreaker situation will be looking pretty good, going into the playoffs or going into the final week of the season.
To make matters worse for Houston, Tulsa plays Louisiana today, tomorrow, which you would think, well, that's pretty good for Houston. Louisiana's been real great this year. Well, one of the 3 Louisiana losses has been to Tulsa earlier this season. Tulsa beat them down pretty good in January. Mike, 14-0 right now in the second quarter. Florida with a pick 6, Adam Jones, and then Bullet Boletsky with a 1-yard touchdown run has the Storm up 14-0. They are not giving the Atlantic Division away, quietly pushing the Kings here late in the season.
Well, storybook, rivalry here in this league. These teams have been rivals for a long time. They've met in a couple of championship games, and this Florida rivalry, it always seems to be for the division, title or something's on the line. Very big when these two teams meet. And even if I didn't know all that, Cam, once I see those red alert helmets that Florida wears, I mean, that means it's an important game for those guys. They typically don't break those out unless it's a big game, and they are playing like it thus far. My MVP candidate right now, Charlie Beletsky, with a touchdown run and a big pick six right there in the first quarter, have Florida up in this game.
Yeah, he definitely is on pace to make the ballot. This season has been terrific for Florida in their sort of resurgence. They had a whole month this season where they didn't win a game, and yet they're still in position to potentially win a division. And Mike, with 2 weeks to go, only one of the 6 divisions has been clinched. That's by the 9-1 Vancouver Legion. They've also clinched the first round bye. They've already won more games than they have in any other season in franchise history. They're on a tear. We'll see them in bonus coverage against Houston later alongside Denver and Sioux Falls. Halftime in the nation's capital, 21-6. DC leads Las Vegas. We're back for your post-game update and to get you set for our second game of our doubleheader after Andy and Mark wrap things up in DC. Dragons trying to hold on, get their 8th win, up 15. This has been the APM Music Halftime Report. We'll be right back.
Back here in Washington, D.C., Andy Hamilton along with Mark Lopez. Aaron Gooden on stats for us. Cameron Irvine producing the game behind the scenes. We are back for 22 more minutes of football action, and a little bit more than that when you're looking at the real clock. And Las Vegas will start with the football. The visiting team went down, scored 3 before the halftime break. Mark, it was a big play that really could have been a touchdown that ended up only resulting in 3 points.
Yep, absolutely. A 39-yard completion to Blades, which ended up being tackled in the 1-yard line, Andy. They had 3 attempts at the end zone, but they could not. There was a sack in there, a tackle for loss and a short pass, and ended up into a 3-point kick field goal instead.
4-3 look here out of the defense. They'll start with a run, and Scott Johnson will pick up 7 to start this second half of action. Joseph Green, 84% completion percentage. Mark, besides the 3 sacks, he's played pretty good so far.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen a lot of Scott Johnson, despite him being the feature player in this team. Only 5 attempts so far in the day. That last attempt was attempt number 6, puts him up for 36 yards total.
Las Vegas at 4-6, essentially playing for their playoff life. Here is a flip out. Johnson will take it with a blocker in front. Johnson, gives him the okey doke on the sideline and gets a couple extra yards out of it.
Yeah, using the sideline as another blocker, but instead refusing to block and making the tackler, run past him. And as he said, makes the Okie Doke gets more yards for his team, and Scott Johnson worked it sideline.
Look at that. 22 for DC. That's John DeSantis needs to find a new pair of underwear there. Man, he got embarrassed on that one.
Someone send a stretcher. His ankles are broken, might be as well.
His pride is definitely broken. Nothing like getting juked by a running back on live TV. Here is Green going to flip it out, and they'll give Johnson another run at it. Oh, and that time, Peanut Say said, "You're not going to get me."
Yeah, Peanut Say bringing in the peanut sauce and lathering the sauce thick on Mr. Scott Johnson, not allowing any more yards. Still, a quick pass to him for 4 yards. I mean, that's still the pressure in front, Andy, I think. Just forcing him to pass the ball outside in probably the least ideal situation.
F-Wing Jokers here against a 4-3 look out of DC. Here is a flip out. Johnson with a little bit of room on that top side. Gets to the 45 and will go down there.
And I believe so far this drive, it has been all Scott Johnson every single play. And yeah, wow, that goes to show you probably a little flip of a mindset since coming back from the locker room. They're looking at what has transpired in the first half, Andy, and I think the bottom line is there wasn't enough Scott Johnson.
Yeah, even on that one that he fumbled on the opening carry of the game for Las Vegas, really ripped off a ton of yards. So I think that's the right move, is continue to put the ball in his hands. Short drop, Green, pressure coming, just barely unloaded it there to Miramontes, who makes the grab for 2, and after all that, it'll be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that's what an incredible defensive front will do to you. Rush the ball, rush the passer, and, force him to make pressure situations with, under duress. And more often than not, you may force him to make a mistake. It wasn't a mistake this time, lucky to get 2 yards in that one.
4 receivers wide, 3-2 look. DC only bringing 3. Green fires outside and nearly picked off. The Dragons would have had Darrell Bullock going the other way.
And Darrell Bullock, his first pass deflection of the day, of this game. We haven't called his name much. We haven't seen him tackle anyone yet. However, a good one in that specific play.
5 wide here, 3rd and 8. Got to get out to the 35-yard line of DC in order to move the chains. Green alone in the shotgun will look to sling it. Fire short, caught, first down. Nice catch and first down extension to the 33.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hand it to them. That's a good pass to their secondary, to Charney right there, number 10. And, they'll do anything. They'll pass to their secondary if it means getting the first yard, because you're down 15 points. Any score is, gonna be big for them. Every drive is gonna be big.
3 receivers wide. Green to throw again. This time a flip out. Johnson, we've seen plenty of this, and that time Johnson didn't really have the room. It was closed down by Riley Hughes.
Yep, not the room nor the momentum. He had to lean back to get that catch. So perhaps the pass was also thrown a little too far behind him. But yeah, credit again to those tacklers stopping Scott Johnson, who has been effective at that specific play.
4 wide. I believe this is an ace quads formation against a 4-3. Here is Green, and he'll get dropped. DC rushed 4, and they were able to get home. That sack is made there.
If there would be any damage indicator on how damaged Joseph Green is right now, his entire body would probably be in the red. How many times has he been sacked? That is number 5. Not including the quarterback hit that we saw a couple plays ago. He is hurting.
2nd sack for Bam Bam Cook today, and they'll have to go 4 wide on 3rd and 13. They got to get down to the 23-yard line to move the chains. Here's Green, stands in the pocket, protected well, fires, and that is picked off. Middle of the field interception for the DC Dragons. They'll take over at the 14, courtesy of Kanye Rockefeller.
Incredible interception right here. I mean, for Las Vegas, this is definitely a gut punch for them. They need every score they want. They've had a very successful drive so far, effective with Scott Johnson being more utilized, but unfortunately, the one pass that one of the few passes they made this drive ends up in an interception.
Well, don't blink too much, Mark. DC now going to go 5 wide themselves. 3-2 look here out of Las Vegas. Synergy throws. Ooh, similar throw and a different result. Mike Churchill caught at the 31.
Yeah, and definitely the people who did not blink were these these DZ receivers, making sure that they are on the ball at the right time. And that's a good completion for them. Get out of the shadow of your end zone and keep the ball moving forward. Now, Las Vegas Fury, very hard pressed to once again force a stop. They haven't stopped this DC offense not till the end of the first half.
Shotgun look, gun straight here. Synergy pressured and hit as he lets go, and it's incomplete. A.K. Jones supplies the pressure.
Yeah, this is that I believe the first quarterback hit. We haven't seen him sack yet, and first time they got home to him. Fortunately, the ball got out of his hands, and for an incompletion technically, but still, this Las Vegas defense might be ramping up the heat.
2 backs in the backfield, Say, flanked by Chris Britton, only carried the ball 6 times today, make it 7. Say will only get a yard before Itera wraps him up.
Yeah, really packing in the middle right there. Kevin Say, we've seen him break through the middle a lot of times throughout the season, but that is also care off the heavy amount of attempts he's had. He is number 4 in terms of attempts in the season, so he has the ball a lot. That's why he gets more opportunities to make huge plays.
Here is a shotgun snap, has to unload, and it's picked off. Las Vegas will take it right back. Chris Magel with the interception.
And there we go. Chris Magel with interception number 5 in the season. That is number 2 today. Wow, what a catch for him. Or what an interception for him.
That's big for Las Vegas. They will get the football back.
Sorry, that is not interception number 2 for him. It's interception number 2 for Shabbat Synergy.
Here's the shotgun snap. Green just checks down. Smart, safe throw, especially considering, Mark, out of that formation, both teams have had some trouble today.
Yeah, and at the very least, you gotta get your little successes somehow, somewhere, and they'll take the 4 yards that they have right here. Will they ever come back to that situation, Andy? Maybe, but definitely something to think about.
It was Doug Britton across the middle, and now it'll line him up 2nd and 6. And here is Johnson up the middle, carving through the defense. First down to the 39.
That was a good one. Britton once again. Not Britton. A-Star Miramontes with a good block in the inside, leading Scott Johnson's way, and Scott Johnson got more yards than what DC bargained for.
3 wide here. Nickel look on first down. Green stands in the pocket and completes. No pressure there on Green, and was able to find Mason Kirby down to the 21-yard line. Las Vegas trying to keep this thing going.
No pressure and no fear from this quarterback, who is fearless throwing it down the middle. At least in this situation, there weren't plenty of defenders in the receiver's face. And that is credit as well to the receiver running his route well, finding the open spot. And if you're a quarterback, that's the kind of receiver you want to throw to.
Joseph Green having a good day despite that 1 interception, 80% completion percentage and higher. He'll look to throw it again, flip out Johnson. Scotty Johnson will spin back inside, pick up 8.
And a huge reason why Joseph Green has a huge, incredible completion percentage is that because out of his 20 attempts so far in the day, 8 of those went to Scott Johnson. And Scott Johnson effective on the air as well in those short passes. 8 receptions, 46 yards. That's good for 5.8 per reception.
Green only completing 66% this season, a little higher than that mark today. Johnson fights through 1, has the 1st and goal at the 6.
Another red zone situation for them. The second time they are in the red zone. Care off, the previous one was at the end of the first half. Care off John Blade's huge catch. Now Scott Johnson carrying this team into where they are right now.
8 carries, 50 yards for Scott Johnson. That's 6.3 per carry. Here's Green, fires, caught, and touchdown! Mason Kirby crosses the goal line for 6 points for the Fury.
And just barely gets the touchdown. I think he might have reached his arm forward to bring
that's
the
Scott
ball
Fowl.
over the plane. Yep, he does cross the plane. Andy, that is a touchdown, and that is much needed for this Las Vegas offense that seems to have been thirsting for any amount of points. They only had 6 in the first half. They are averaging 29.9 points per game. They are kind of under their average at the pace that they're going at. They want to score, and they have in a huge time.
My apologies to Scott Fowl. That's his, get this, Mark, I believe, and I'm going to double check it so I don't embarrass him again. That's his 11th catch of the season for Scott Fowl. 2nd touchdown. That's pretty good.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you might be a contributor more so in the blocking, but whenever you can get points for your team, Andy, boy, that's going to matter huge.
Las Vegas, off of the Magel interception, goes down the field and puts a touchdown on the board against DC. These Dragons a little shocked here. It seems, Mark, in the second half, they were rolling in the first, and now they find their 11-point lead cut down to just 8.
A lot of their efforts as well in the first half, Andy, for DC, were the turnovers. They forced 1 turnover on the special teams through a fumble, and then another one in the middle of the first half, another forced turnover.
We'll see what DC's offense can do here on this drive. See if they can get back in their scoring ways, or if Las Vegas's defense can come up with a stop. Synergy, pressure coming, has to unload. That's incomplete. The SFL has partnered with Laser to deliver digital SFL trading cards to its players and viewers starting this postseason exclusively on the SFL's Twitch broadcast. Viewers every 30 minutes will be issued one of 18 trading cards, or you can buy the entire pack through Laser's store and receive the complete set of common, uncommon, rare, and ultra-rare memorabilia. Visit laser.gg and click the Join Alpha button to connect your Twitch account. 2nd and 10 give, and Chris Britton will pick up a yard. 3rd and 9, a super important play right here for Las Vegas's defense.
And Las Vegas has been incredible against this rushing attack by DC, only allowing just around 30 yards between Kevin Say and Chris Britton versus Scott Johnson, who has 50 yards in 8 attempts, so really stopping the run effectively.
DC completing 60% this season, will fire and convert another one. Down to the 37, Synergy finds the receiver for first down yardage.
Yup, and that is number 81, Jeff Banfield, for another huge catch for his team. That is catch number 3 for him in 5 targets. And boy, I believe number 39, Merrick Itera, was huge in that tackle, cleaning up his mistake. Not really a mistake, more so just being beaten by Jeff Banfield, and cleans that up for a tackle because there was nobody in front of Banfield who could have run for a touchdown. So credit to both players.
DC 8 of 12 today on 3rd down after that one. We're doing really a good job when the marker says 3. Here's Kevin Say, spins back inside.
Whoa!
Oh man, down all the way to the 9-yard line. Kevin Say.
Oh man, Kevin Say has a mic in this booth. He heard me call out his low production on the ground. Prior to this, he was only 23 yards for 7 attempts. And gets a huge one for his team to put them in very good scoring position. He is now 51 yards in the night, picking up 28 in that single run.
DC knocking on the door here at the Las Vegas 9, trying to punch it in and re-extend the lead. Here's another give. Kevin Say right up the middle and brought down at the 6.
Number 90 on that tackle. As well as, that was Yakov Zolotov amongst the people who tackled him, and they're really going to need to do that against this beast known as Kevin Say.
5 receivers wide, straight open look against a 4-3 defense. Synergy will drop, Vegas brings 3. Here's the throw, and it's in and out of the hands of the receiver. I thought Banfield had a chance at that one.
Perhaps he heard footsteps. Andy, perhaps it was just really crowded in the end zone. They'll still, they have one more attempt at it. Jeff Banfield really wants that back, really wants that catch.
3rd and goal from 6 yards.
5 wide again. Synergy has thrown 2 touchdowns today, and he'll look to throw again. Pressure coming. Synergy throws the corner route. That is incomplete. Feet were not in bounds. Banfield again.
Oh, man, Banfield, 2 incompletions to him in the end zone. He really wants those back. And, they're going to challenge.
A challenge here from DC. It's a potential swing of 4 points if they upheld the call on the field, as they would have to attempt a field goal. Mark, take me through it.
Well, at least in my point of view, the first time I saw it, it might have been out of bounds, but upon second viewing Andy, I think he had that left foot in when he made the catch, and that might be good enough.
It is not. They are going to say the right foot out of bounds was the first foot after the catch was made, and that will be incomplete. And it was close, Mark. Worth the challenge for sure, in my opinion.
Right. They probably saw a millisecond where the ball was not in the hands of the receiver while he was still inbounds. All right. Well, they'll settle for 3 points, Andy. This still puts them up by 2 scores. Going to put them up by, I believe, 11. And Las Vegas are still going to be 2 scores down as opposed to only 8 points.
Yeah, DC will extend the lead if Paty can send this one up and through, and he does. From 23 yards, it's now 24-13. A good drive from DC, capped off with a field goal.
Yup, incredible from them. That drive was for 4 plays, and then he got a lot of huge yardage gain from the running on the ground.
And that will send Paty on to kick this one away. And here will be the return. They will bring it out from the end zone, out across the 20, and out to the 24. Let's send it to the Sunshine State and Cameron Irvine for an update between Florida and Jacksonville. Cam?
Thank you, Andy. Mike, after a mostly miserable first half for the Kings, they got something going just before the half.
Yeah, Cam, right before the half, the Kings finally get on the board. Shea Carroll here with a nice skinny post for the touchdown. Jacksonville finally on the board, 27, going into the half.
Back to Andy and Mark in D.C.
Thanks, Cam. Back here in D.C., Johnson will start this one with a 2-yard catch on the outside.
Yep, and now Las Vegas, Andy down 11. They still have 2 scores to go. There's still definitely an entire quarter after this third quarter, which is coming to a close, to come back into this game. But, time not against them. They're going to want to have to speed the game up, and that might, lessen even the plays to Scott Johnson unless he gets involved in the passing play more.
4-3 look out of DC. Play action for Green here. Green going to throw outside. That is caught. Scott Fowl, I believe, out to the outside will make the grab. And it'll be 1st and 10. No, that's Blades.
Yeah, John Blades already before that completion with 74 yards and 4 reception. Definitely the number 1 receiver so far for Joseph Green, and I'm not surprised why he threw it that way.
Weak eye tight end flex. They'll give it out. Johnson with a carry and blockers. Johnson buries over the ref, and Johnson is all the way down to the 30. The referee in his way may have slowed him down, but Scott Johnson rips off a big run.
Perhaps he slowed Scott Johnson down, but the key there is that the referee slowed down his lead blocker right here. Slowed down number 81 for making a key block, but enough for Johnson to pick up a huge yardage gain for Las Vegas, and again racking up a lot of yards, up to 83 now.
24-13 at the end of the third. It's the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music right here on Next Level Sports, and we'll be right back. 11 minutes to decide who will win this one in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. I'm Andy Hamilton. Mark Lopez joins me in the booth, along with Aaron Gooden on stats, doing a great job for us. Joseph Green will check out. Scott Johnson will make the catch and pick up 5. First down to the 25 here. And Mark, as the time ticks away and as we move into this fourth frame, more important for Las Vegas to try and get things rolling quickly.
Yep, quickly. And it looks like they are still utilizing Scott Johnson in their speed up of their offense. I'm not surprised. He has been very productive today.
Here is another throw. They'll flip it out. Johnson again with blockers. Johnson spins off a 1 and will not get through the second wave, but is down to the 15. They are knocking on the door right here in the red zone.
Absolutely, and I think that's the effect of Scott Johnson being able to be effective on those kind of plays, is that he presents not only an option for Joseph Green to throw out to him in high-pressure situations to the quarterback, but the fact that he's lethal in that position as well makes it so they keep getting first downs, such as that one.
Green will line up 2 tight ends on the line, both Fowl and Roberts on the field for the Fury. 4-3 look here out of DC. And Green on a 5-step drop will throw underneath. That catch is made there, and that is actually Mason Kirby, who will pick up 5.
Only his 4th reception. He is still 100% in terms of catching all his targets that's been sent his way. 69 yards in the day, also very productive for Mason Kirby.
Green sees something he likes out of the defense and will adjust. 4 down linemen for DC, 3 linebackers. They'll give it off this right side. Scott Johnson bounces it, tries to spin out of the tackle and cannot. The one-on-one play made by Kappa Jones at the 6.
Man, lots of good plays by both sides in that specific play. You know, Scott Johnson actually was almost in trouble on the outset. The line of scrimmage almost had been tackled there, but Kappa Jones being able to bring him down before a first down conversion was huge as well.
Tight end out on the field. Green against the 4-3 will take a short drop. Quick throw on the out route. Caught. First down yardage by Blades, who makes the grab. Not much more, but John Blades on that one does go past Caesar Cannon for 29th all-time, I believe.
Wow, another milestone broken, and what a way to do it against John DeSantis, who had his hand in the ball's path probably, but still a huge catch.
Give, and that's not going to go anywhere for Johnson. 2nd and goal from the 7.
Well, Andy, we have seen this situation already one time where it's in the red zone, and they're handing it off to Scott Johnson. One time it was a tackle for a loss, another tackle for a loss. Here it seems like they are struggling to convert when they're this close to the end zone.
Twins here, 2nd and goal. They need a touchdown. Give, right side, Johnson with blockers. Can he beat them? No, can't get to the goal line. 3rd and goal from the 2.
Oh, 3rd and goal from the 2. At least it's from the 2, Andy, as opposed to from the 8 on the previous drive that was almost a touchdown. But this touchdown will be pivotal because it will cut the lead to 5, potentially 4, or even 3 if they make a 2-point conversion.
Twins to this near side, 2 in the backfield. Green gonna throw on 3rd down, fires back in the end zone. One-handed grab, but he's out of bounds!
Oh!
John Blades, incomplete!
Oh my, was he? Would they challenge this? That was as close as the Jeff Banfield close miss from the previous drive of DC. But it doesn't look like they're challenging. Oh, man.
Kicker is on. Matt Rage will line it up. That is a huge swing of momentum for the Fury, who thought they had a touchdown. They just elect not to challenge, and Rage sends it up and through. And we will step aside. 16-24 Las Vegas cutting into this lead. You don't want to miss the next series. Don't go anywhere. Back here in D.C., Andy Hamilton along with Mark Lopez. Aaron Gooden on stats for us. Cameron Irvine in the truck. And 16-24 Las Vegas right back in this football game. D.C. with the football back here at the 26. Mark, man, John Blades was close.
Absolutely, he was close. He was close in the first half as well when he was just 1 yard short. Now he's a few inches off from being inbound for a touchdown. So both him and Jeff Banfield with 2 potential touchdown catches, unable to get it for their team.
Looking to throw, Synergy will flip it out, Say through one, and then Max Jackson corrals him at the 33.
Yeah, it's interesting how 2 of the rush heavily reliant teams in DC and Las Vegas, they have 2 of the 3 most rushers with the most carries, and yet despite that, they have so many more yards and passing this game. Shows what flip of a game plan they've had.
Say will fight through and pick up the first down. Move change to the 38.
Another third down conversion. It gets the first down for them, keeps the chain going forward, but as well keeps churning the clock, Andy. And I think the clock is slowly but surely being less and less of a friend for Las Vegas.
New set of downs here. Where will they go with 6 minutes to go? Synergy pressured and sacked in the backfield. A.K. Jones finally got home. He's been all over the field today, and he says, "Hey, Shabazz, I'm coming for you."
Yeah, A.K. Jones, very good. Has been incredible against the rushing of Kevin Say, but this time finds Mr. Shabazz Synergy in the backfield. A huge sack for them, because in this situation, Andy, I think your top prerogative is to not make them score any points, not even a field goal, so that you can come back with 8 points on your own, and that's a good start. That's going to help with a huge sack for A.K. Jones.
That is the goal, Mark. Don't speak too soon. This DC team has fought their way out of a lot of 3rd and longs, and they'll have another one here. 3rd and 12 as Britton meets Drury and can't get a yard.
You're absolutely right, Andy, especially when you have, Lauren Percoco, who made a huge reception for 61 yards earlier in the first half. You have Jeff Banfield, who made the 32-yard catch as well, also in the first half. So big plays are definitely something they have experience with.
They will throw short underneath. That catch made, tackled out of bounds by Itera. 4th down, DC. They'll send it back to Las Vegas.
When Itera with a huge one for his team, Las Vegas really struggled to get off the field. The first punt in 4 drives. It has been 4 consecutive scoring drives by both teams, and this is going to be the first punt in a long while. Care off Merrick Itera.
Punter is on. Vegas will set up for the return. And they will spin out of one. Here is a nice return off this left side. Doug Britton trying to make the difference right here. Number 84 for Las Vegas. Say goodbye, Doug. Touchdown, Fury.
Doug Britton was the hero in the week prior with the huge outing from him. He might prove to be a hero in this one with a huge return touchdown. That'll spark the momentum back to Las Vegas. Man, this close to the end of the ball game, what a time to score and potentially tie this game with a 2-point conversion.
Well, if you can't get it done via the air or the ground for the offense, why not on special teams? Some special teams power there from Las Vegas, and DC is in some trouble here as the second half has been all fury, and now the offense will stay out for a 2-point try.
And you see there, you just saw at the bottom of your screen, Doug Britton has the most return yards, second most in terms of return averages.
Green flattened on the 2-point attempt, and it'll remain a 2-point ball game. That was Bam Bam Cook again.
Man, this defensive front is scary. I believe that is number 6 for this DC defense. And Joseph Green has been on the turf more often than, than he'd like to be. That's 6 times on the ground, not to mention plenty of quarterback hits.
Kick away here for Vegas, and DC a 2-point lead that they are clinging on to late in this one. They'll only get out to the 25. Cameron Arvine will send it to you for a game break from Florida.
Thank you, Andy. Teamwork at its best here, Mike. Quick, you hold them up, and then I'll take the ball away.
Yeah, Cam, it's no in the grasp in this league. Obviously, these guys get to Marcus down here, hold them up right there, cause a fumble. Big sexy Alex Dominguez picks it up. He wants to get into that end zone for the first time, but he's stopped right there. Florida's up 20-7 still. We're in the third.
Wild play. Back to Andy and Mark and PC coming down to the wire.
Turnover there. We've seen some turnovers here in this one. Vegas would love to force one here, Mark. Down by 2 points. That say run picks up 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 from the DC 27. They'll go heavy formation again. They've ran it with, say, 12 times today. Chris Britton has had 3 of his own carries. See if they give it to him again here. 2nd down, they will. Left side, Say, and he'll get stopped at the line. Mark, do you dare throw on 3rd down?
Well, I mean, Shabazz Synergy has over 300 yards already, eclipsing it in the previous drive. So he has been pretty good. It's those 2 interceptions that might be nagging him at the back of his mind. I wonder, if they have a game plan, it looks like they will throw for it and rely on their passing in this one, but it's scary. There is still 2 interceptions. There's Max Jackson in the backfield.
Gun tray open here on 3rd and 8. From the 27, they're going to run some corners and posts, and he almost threw it right to Day Drury. It falls incomplete either way. Vegas going to get the ball back.
Day Drury definitely did not sign up for wide receiver additions. Unable to make a catch that was literally on his chest, but still a key stop for them. Boy, forcing the ball back to their offense, Andy, but suddenly, in a situation like this, we have seen this last week against Baltimore, where they clung to a single point. Not a single point, a single score, a touchdown, and they prevented that as the game expired. 3 minutes, will that happen again? Will DC force Las Vegas to not score at all as this game will expire?
What's on the line for Las Vegas? They are trying to stay alive in the playoff hunt. And they still have a path to win the Western Conference, but they need a win here today to do so. DC, on the other hand, can win the North if they win and Baltimore loses their last 2 games and DC wins their last 2 games. They need a win as well. The playoffs are closing in, and both of these teams today, Mark, have to have a victory in this one.
Absolutely. Definitely more so for Las Vegas, Andy, because a loss here means they're out of it. For DC, at least they are still, currently, they are the 5th seed with their record. However, a loss definitely will not help their case for winning their division.
Las Vegas may be out of the playoff race with a loss, and DC with a loss would still be in it, but not able to win their division. Blades got there. They're going to give him the 1st down to the 48. That was close.
That was close, but that is, again, Blades. Mr. All Reliable has been with this team a long time, and he's going to reward them with another key 1st down. Not only is it happened in the middle, it chews up some clock. They want to make sure that not only do they score, that they're the last team to score.
Now, around 2:40 to go here in this 4th quarter. Nickel look here out of the defense. Green, short drop, quick throw. Tipped up and nearly intercepted. It'll fall incomplete.
Yeah, Joseph Green already has 1 interception, and both quarterbacks have a QBR of over 90. 96 for Joseph Green, 92 for Shabazz Synergy. So they have both been productive on the air. Actually, both quarterbacks averaging above their season averages in terms of yards.
2nd and 10, 2 in the backfield again. This would lead us to believe another run. Instead, they'll throw it out to Scott Johnson. Johnson with a blocker, spins off one, shakes another, picks up 4. Coverage of the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports continues Saturday, April 16th, the final day of the regular season at 2:30 Eastern. The South Division title on the line. Mexico City faces Lone Star, and DC will meet London in a crucial game for playoff seeding. NXT will also have coverage of divisional races up for grabs in the West Atlantic and East. Green fires.
Wow.
That is caught. First down to the 31, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. What a play from Britton as he makes the grab over the middle, and with 2 minutes to go, you're watching the Simulation Football League on APM News. We'll be right back. Back here in DC, 2 minutes to play for the chance to continue your season if you are Las Vegas. And for DC, your chance at the North is right here. Whether you take the win or not, you can make the playoffs, but the North Division title is on the line. Flip outside, Johnson picks up 3.
Johnson has already 13 receptions in this ball game. That'll give him 70 total yards in the day. He has been effective. He has been slaying the DC defense on the sidelines.
2 receivers, bottom of the screen. Single back is Johnson. They will give it to Johnson. He's not going to get there. It'll be 3rd and 9. Couldn't even pick up a yard. Nice closing speed there from Peanut Say on the outside.
And this is an interesting situation, Andy, because if they don't make this conversion, they'll still be in position to score a field goal potentially for 47 yards. That'll put them in the lead, but will be enough time potentially for DC to come back for a score there.
4 receivers wide here for Joseph Green. Completed 83% of his passes. Green, check down, caught. That will get them another yard or 2 there to Scott Johnson, and they will call on Matt Rage.
Mr. Matt Rage has only missed 1 field goal in the season. Better not make this his second one. Their playoff lives is depending on this field goal plus good defense.
Mark trying to tempt Mr. Rage into making it more interesting. Kick from Matt Rage, up and on the way, and got it from 45. He says, forget you, Mark Lopez. I got this one.
Yep, I mean, I would have had called the worst broadcaster jinx if my call ended the Las Vegas playoff hopes.
Man, oh man, it is a 1-point lead for the Las Vegas Fury. DC could beat Baltimore last week, but cannot hold the lead against Las Vegas. Will they be able to climb back into it? 30 seconds, 2 timeouts for the Dragons. Received here, Kanye Rockefeller off the 20. Jukes one, Kanye Rockefeller. Oh, man, tackle made there at the 32. And remember, coming up on the 8 p.m. Music post-game update, if time allows, we'll send you out to Florida for bonus coverage of Storm and Kings. Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green will break down the first slate of games and preview what's next here on NXT's coverage of the SFL. All coming up on the post-game update. 4 wide here.
Uh-oh.
And a free play. Here is a deep shot that's tipped up and incomplete. Was trying to find Jeff Banfield, but the penalty will move them down the field a little bit.
Yep, 3-5 yards for DC. If you're Las Vegas, you don't even want them to score a field goal at all. That'll be your demise. Only 22 seconds.
Crowd here in Washington, D.C. loving it. Love to watch this Dragon team move down the field, and they're going to need to do so in a hurry. Synergy, 29 of 39 today, 2 touchdowns. Leading receiver is Jeff Banfield. Longest catch of the day was Lauren Percoco, 61 yards right down the middle of the field. She's not even on the field on this 1st and 5 from the 37. They're about 30 yards away from an attempt. Spread look here for Synergy. Short drop, quick throw outside, catch made, and fighting to get out of bounds, and does so, Mike Churchill.
That's incredible. He was probably 4 or 5 yards from the out-of-bounds line, but he makes it. Usually you see receivers, keep going to get the 1st yard line. His goal was the outside line, and he made it. That is a good for them. Gives them, one more free timeout, essentially.
DC trying to complete the drive of all drives with 31 seconds to get down the field. They're down to 15 of them. This throw caught down to the 40, and that will be their first timeout. They still have 1 in the back pocket.
And if you're Las Vegas, if you're the fans, you're sweating bullets because now suddenly they're just probably under 10 yards away from Potty's kicking range, and Potty might be the one to kick the walk-off field goal. But still, DC will have to work for those yards. Las Vegas will definitely have to make them work for those yards.
4 receivers wide. 1st and 10 from the 40. Down to 12 seconds. Play action here. Synergy fires outside. Caught. That is down close to where they might be willing to make an attempt. Banfield, another grab to the 32. It would be a 50. Mark, help me out here.
About 49 yards, maybe 50.
Yeah.
If this is a long 32. But
they're not going to wait.
Oh, they're going to go for it.
Potty on to try and keep the hopes of the North alive and to potentially knock Las Vegas out of the playoff race. Snap back, hold down. Potty will send it up, and it is no good! Off the crossbar! Potty cannot make the field goal with 4 ticks on the clock remaining.
Oh no, Andy, were they probably impatient with 1 timeout left in their pocket? Could they have gone for 1 more play and give Potty just 2 or 3 more yards? That was short. It was on target, but short. The few yards were the key, and that's the nail in the coffin. It's game over. What a way to go away in this game.
The doink from Potty will not lift the spirits of DC as they hoped to win the North Division. They needed 2 wins of their own and 2 losses from Baltimore. But with that missed field goal, Baltimore will clinch a first-round bye. Their win will give them the North Division. And what a way to do so. This Las Vegas team comes on the road, Mark, and through the first half, it looked like they were in trouble. And in the second half, they came alive.
Absolutely. They have been incredible. They were down 3-21 at one point.
There is your final 25-24. Las Vegas hangs on to defeat the DC Dragons right here in Washington, D.C. Mark, break down what we just watched.
I mean, incredible. Look at the total yards for Las Vegas, 399. Mr. Scott Johnson had over 150 total yards out of the 399 yards. He has been everywhere in the passing game and the rushing game. It has been all Scott Johnson, especially in the second half. You're right, Andy, coming back from a huge 6-21 lead. And, you know, that means the only score that Las Vegas allowed on DC on the second half, where one field goal, another field goal, one touchdown, just field goals in the second half, and not allowing DC much more points than they had in the first half, and just storming back with the win. There were some key plays that DC had early on in the game to amass a huge lead, but Las Vegas, with their playoff hopes on the line, they put everything on the line and got a 1-point win, Andy. They're gonna go home happy. The work is not over, Andy, but this is a good start.
13 carries and 88 yards in this win, or that's for Scott Johnson, and this win for Las Vegas doesn't guarantee them a playoff spot, but keeps those hopes alive by not handing them that 7th loss. There is the big return, Doug Britton, for a touchdown that made the difference, along with this Matt Rage field goal. And Mark, this is a huge day. Joseph Green, 32 of 38, 84% completion percentage for him, which is a huge number, and that will really make the difference. Your player of the game today here in DC is Joseph Green, 289 yards, and the score, 96.2 QBR. Well, for Mark Lopez, I'm Andy Hamilton. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League. Las Vegas gets the victory here in DC, and now we'll send it to Florida for the conclusion of Jacksonville and the Florida Storm. Take it away.
And Baltimore and Arizona round off the day.
Jacksonville still sticking to this, short pass game.
That was a tough catch there by Jack Wall. We welcome those of you who watched a instant classic as Vegas stays alive in the playoff race and beats DC by way of a missed field goal. And another catch made by Jack Wall. That's 2 in a row. Here it's been the story of the Florida defense as they have held the Kings to just 7 points and put up 30 of their own. The key play of the game, 2 Marcus Dunhill interceptions, one of them by Adam Jones going all the way back for a touchdown. Charlie Boletsky, the Florida running back, has 2 rushing touchdowns from inside the 5 as well. My name is Michael Tribetto. Happy to have your company along with Michelle Colston on commentary. Michelle, this game has been very one-sided and not at all what we expected. Jacksonville leading this division and Florida with an outside shot still to win it. And now, as we've been talking about, as we welcome in all the viewers from Next Level Sports, it's all to play for next weekend.
Definitely all to play for next weekend. This is actually a very impressive drive by Jacksonville. They're moving the ball down the field very rapidly here.
Trying to get some points on the board and bring that point differential down with 2:20 to go.
They're still sticking to their little short routes. Well, that's actually a pretty long pass for Jacksonville there.
That might be the longest pass that's been completed for the Kings today. It's all out routes, corner routes, runs, swing passes outside. Here's Dunhill going to the far side. That pass is a little overthrown. A better pass than Grayson Willis might walk into the end zone, but it will be second and goal from inside the 2.
We're almost at the 2-minute warning already, Michael.
2-minute warning here is a very quickly progressing game at Kings Lair. Actually, we're going to have one more play as the clock stops with 2:01 after Grayson fell out of bounds.
Been a very impressive drive by Jacksonville so far, though.
Well, that's an incomplete pass, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning as Marcus Dunhill got crushed and barely got that pass away. It'll be 3rd down and goal now.
I think they can actually get the ball into the end zone this time. They're in 4 4-down territory, so.
I think at this point, if you're Frank Gooden and the rest of the Jacksonville Kings, you want to use this time as maybe a little bit of practice. Over the middle, incomplete.
Oh.
Had the receiver he wanted on a post route, but the defense got there first, and it's 4th and goal.
I thought it was actually a reception there, but it's almost an interception.
Already 2 interceptions in the game by Dunhill. Evan Carroll has 1. Adam Jones has the pick 6, which really broke the game open, made it 14-0 early in the first quarter. Dunhill on 4th down, goes to the goal line, touchdown Jacksonville. He finds Grayson Willis across the middle, and that is the 2nd passing touchdown of the game from Marcus Dunhill. Both of them have been inside the 10-yard line, short passes, as has been the case for Jacksonville today. It hasn't been enough offensively, as Florida has just done so well in coverage. That time, Grayson Willis first to the ball, barely beating his defender.
Yeah, Florida's defense has been amazing today. 7 tackles for losses, a sack.
And they've done it all with just 1 sack, which when you've got Rhett Sawyer and Alex Dominguez on the same defensive line, you'd expect more than 1 sack in a game, but tackles for loss 7. They've really shut down the run game of Jared Willis. Only 66 yards on 20 carries for the Jacksonville running back today.
Their secondary also has 9 pass deflections on the day, so they've been giving Marcus Dunhill nightmares all day.
And 2 interceptions, as previously mentioned. Coverage of the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports continues Saturday, April 16th, the final day of the regular season at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. The South Division title will be on the line when Mexico City faces Lone Star, plus DC will meet London in a crucial game for playoff seeding. NXT will also have coverage of potential divisional races up for grabs in the West, Atlantic, or East. Visit NLSE.com to find Next Level Sports in your area. And it's very likely that it will be the Atlantic Division showcased, because there are a number of scenarios still all to play for. And Florida against Charleston next week is going to be huge, because we're assuming if Jacksonville takes care of business against Carolina, Florida will have to win to potentially keep playoff hopes alive, because they would be, well, they would still have 7 wins, so it would come down to seeding. It's all very complicated. But if Carolina does beat Jacksonville next week, then it's a straight shootout between Florida and Charleston to see who wins this Atlantic Division.
Yeah, very exciting weekend next weekend. I can't wait.
And of course, we'll know the playoff matchups after next weekend's games have concluded, as Jacksonville burns some time out to try and get the ball back one more time.
Jacksonville still has 1 timeout.
Third down and 4 for Ron Cochran. He has been magnificent today. 21 of 29 for 26 yards. No touchdowns, but has set up all the drives that have gotten Florida into the red zone for those field goals and touchdowns.
Jacksonville get the ball back here with 1:41 left on the clock.
It'll be another field goal for Ethan Sneed. He is 3 for 3 on the day. 2 from 28 and 1 from 30. Excuse me, 1 from 34. This will be from 44. As he puts the left foot through it and remains perfect. This time his longest of the day, 44. And it's 33-14 Florida.
Jacksonville get the ball back. They have no timeouts. They have 1 minute and 34 seconds left to march down the field.
Ethan Sneed has only missed 1 field goal all season. Was 18 of 19 coming into the game, and of course 4 for 4 today.
Hashtag kickers matter.
Kickers do matter, and that's why you see pretty much every team these days running them. Paying the kickers the big bucks.
And kickers do make a lot of money in this league.
But as you saw, if you were watching the main coverage on Next Level Sports, that sometimes you pay the kicker, and it does backfire because DC missed the potential game-winning field goal to let Vegas stay alive
we just
in
froze real quick.
playoff positioning. This will likely be the final drive of the game. Let's see what Jacksonville can do with it.
And they're still sticking to those little out routes and 5-6 yard plays. I don't understand it.
They must have thought that they could nickel and dime the Florida defense and gain field position and time of possession advantage in the game. But once they got behind the 8 ball, I mean, they were down 14-0 in the first 5 minutes. And that never really changed their strategy to fit the game.
Yeah, but they're still doing it.
Nice one-handed pass, 2 spin moves, 3 spin moves by Jared Willis to get out past the 40-yard line, and that's a little bit too little too late with only a minute and 15 to go. And the backups mostly in for Florida, as the Storm will travel back down I-95 with a victory.
Compared to the last time they ran from the previous drive, it's working and they're moving the ball. It's just they're not getting big chunks of yardage at a time.
Yeah. But DC coming in at 7-3, falling today to Vegas, who is only 4-6. And DC will still likely comfortably make the playoffs, but that could hurt their seeding, as 2 of the top 4 teams, Jacksonville as well, also 7-3, are going to go down to defeat on this Saturday afternoon.
I think your first
Third team that is 7-3, that would be in Louisiana. They play tomorrow at 3:20 p.m. Eastern. They play Tulsa, a game by all rights they should win, but who knows? We've already seen 2 upsets today, 2 big ones at that.
You can't really count anybody out in this league on any given day. Whoever plays the best that day.
And even, I was looking at the ticker, Arizona is 3-7. They play Baltimore, who is 9-1 and coming off their first loss of the season. But Arizona still has statistically the best defense in the league, so any given day they could hold Jack Wigmore and company to a low point total and eke out a victory there. That could throw the race for the number 1 overall seed into chaos, because Vancouver's just sitting there at 9-1 as well.
Eddie's always dangerous as a defensive coordinator, so
everything to play for in the back half of Week 13 and then the final week of the regular season. Week 14 next weekend. You better tune in for it, as that pass is batted away. Backups in for the Storm. That's Jimmy Menjivar. And 3rd down and 10, 23 seconds to go. Let's see if Jacksonville can find the end zone and reduce that deficit of defeat a little bit.
even with Florida's backup defensive players, and they still look impressive out there on the field.
And that's just Max Paul's scheme and his staff doing a terrific job, as that pass is complete. And it didn't get the first down. Shea Carroll didn't get the ball beyond the line to gain. It was 4th and inches. I'm sure Jacksonville will still go for this. But it's just interesting that even now, right at the end of the game, a call that close could still matter.
Yeah, good discipline by the receiver to get out of bounds and stop the clock, since they had no timeouts left.
So this could be the final play of the ball game with no timeouts for Jacksonville. They're at the Florida 5-yard line with a 4th and inches. Dunhill floats into the back of the end zone. That's a great catch for a touchdown. And a highlight reel play for Jack Wall.
What an awesome play. I mean, his toes were barely in.
You don't want to see this one again. A ballerina-style move from the 6'7", 225, former Season 17 All-Star Jack Wall.
He was wide open. He looked very graceful out there on that catch. As graceful as a man that big can be, anyway.
Well, it's the score is going to read 33-21. But this game was not as close as that score would lead you to believe. It really should be 33-7, as there were 2 touchdowns scored by Jacksonville with the Florida backups in.
That's very true. It was all Florida all day. Mostly Florida's defense all day. A lot of credit has to go to the defense from Florida's team today.
Jared Willis only 66 yards rushing on 20 carries and 24 yards receiving on 7 receptions.
Well, this should be the last play of the game.
Yeah, not the kind of day you would want, as it was a bit of a scramble. Actually, Jacksonville
got it.
Ball. So it will be the Kings to play out the last play of the game on offense.
I think we'll see a Hail Mary here.
14 seconds to go. But I was thinking of the stat line of Jared Willis, and that's not the stat line you really want if you are the bell cow of your team like Willis is. So it will be a Hail Mary for the final play of the game. Dunhill stands in, gets the pass away. There's 4 receivers down. They're wearing purple, and it's complete. Knocked away by Ramel Hernandez. There are still 6 seconds to go, so Jacksonville could do this one more time.
Yeah, Jared Willis didn't even have 90 yards in the day if you combine his rushing and his receiving yards.
Two sacks on the day for the Jacksonville defense, one by Daquan Hale and one by the rookie Forrest Dalton. 7 tackles for loss for the Kings. 7 tackles for loss for the Storm, but really the number to look at is the 11 pass deflections and 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown. The pass is actually caught down there, but it's...
That's a wrap. Florida takes care of Jacksonville 33-21. Post-game update with yours truly and Mike St. Green is coming up next after the break as the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports rolls on. We'll be right back.
Less than 100 yards at home. That's a great concept.
Welcome back to the SFL studios for Sim Football Postgame, along with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine, and Florida making things difficult on Jacksonville. That Atlantic race is not done. Both teams are now 7-4. Florida has the inside track. If they beat Charleston in the final week of the season, they will win the Atlantic Division. Jacksonville can win the Atlantic Division if Florida loses and Jacksonville wins. And if Florida loses and Jacksonville loses, Charleston will win the division. You got all that, Mike?
I think I got it all down, Cam. Check.
But what a performance by the Storm on the road.
Yeah, great performance by them, and they really have seemingly had the Kings' number here over the past couple of seasons, and particularly late in the season. Everyone always says if you're going to get Florida, you need to get these guys early, and that's pretty much proven out to be the fact again here this season. And, great performance. Bullet Gillespie had a couple of touchdowns. He didn't have, the volume of yardage he's had over the past couple of weeks, but he was effective. But more importantly, that defense was great in shutting down the Jacksonville Kings attack, and they came out with a huge victory today.
6 in a row for Florida over Jacksonville in that series. They have definitely had their number. Mike, you and I just about lost it in the studios watching the Vegas and D.C. finish. Vegas stuns D.C. on a Potty missed field goal off the crossbar from 49 yards away. And after D.C. beats the number 1 team in the league last week, they lose to 4-6 Vegas. Vegas stays alive. And this next game between Sioux Falls and Denver means a great deal to Las Vegas because if Denver can pull out the victory, this division is another 3-team race.
Yeah, we never thought we would say Vegas would be rooting for Denver, but they would definitely be doing that. They would definitely be doing that here in the next few minutes here. But this was the tale of 2 kickers in this game, Cam. Matt Ragey had 4 field goals, and Party had a chance to seal the victory for DC, but he hit the crossbar from 49 yards out, and Cam, the party was over after that.
Oh, you went there, Mike. You're going to hear about that on SimPod next week for sure. All right, here's what's coming up on Next Level Sports. It's a big one. Sioux Falls and Denver, they're over top right of your screen. Sioux Falls can win the division if they take care of business. If they do not, that leaves Denver and Las Vegas still in the hunt for the division, and those 2 rivals play in Vice Wars next week for the chance to get it done. Sioux Falls would play Arizona, trying to wrap it up a week later. But Sparrow's trying to make a statement here today, and Denver's not going to make it easy on him.
Definitely not going to make it easy on him, Cam. It's an interesting contrast of these 2 teams and who the personnel that they have on these teams. G.P. Wells, the great rookie running back for Sioux Falls, has made a huge difference on this team. He has 14 total touchdowns on the season for them. And then Denver, they counter with their great second season player, Bailey O'Shaughnessy. He has 15 touchdowns for Denver this season. He's done 9 on the ground, 6 in the air. They get it done in different ways, but these guys are excellent contributors to both squads. And then I think this game, Cam, could easily come down to the special teams. And A.J. Levy, the great return man for Sioux Falls. And then we know about Riley Quintero, the great return man for Denver. These guys both have a couple of returns this season. We can see a game where it's going to be high scoring, well fought, close. We can see a return here or there that could possibly make a difference in this game.
Yeah, it's Levy and Quintero. They are fun to watch, as are these 2 running backs. It's going to be a great one. Matt Wilson and Mike Daggs on the call for our next game here on Next Level Sports. Right after this commercial break, we'll send you out to Richard L. Snowden Memorial Stadium for your kickoff.